Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. It's November 11th, 2022. It's the day after the massive move up in the market yesterday on Thursday, the 10th. And I'm going to take a look at a scan here. It's in a folder. This is market leaders and what's working as far as leadership based upon these scans. Now the market is following through today. I didn't know if the momentum would carry through. It's kind of stuttered around, but it continues to go. But anyway, let's get on with this. Standard risk disclaimer: any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you don't have HGS Investor, you better subscribe because it's the best program out there for slicing and dicing and finding where the strength and weakness is in the market. Just go to highgrowthstock.com and you'll find the link to the trial. In this video, I'm going to go down to my number 4 folder. These are scans that are available in my Insider Club, and I just want to show you how this works. Now, within this folder, there are leaders up and down on volume. So this is yesterday. This is the way these stocks appeared at the end of the day yesterday. You can see there's only 56 of them. But that's just because there aren't that many leaders in the market right now. If I edit this filter, you can see that the last close has to be $10. Trading 200,000 shares based upon a 21-day moving average, percentage price change greater than 0. The volume has to be 50% above the average volume, has to be in an industry group. The fan has to be up. That's what makes it a leader. Common stock, yes. The industry that I'm excluding are the investment companies or the SPACs. There are too many of them in here, and they just don't trade that much. Or let me restate that. I don't know what these SPACs are about. I just don't want to deal with them, so I've eliminated them with this scan. So this is, as of last night, 56. And if I go here to my turn off the view combo, these stocks that were strong yesterday, I want to see how they look in the next view, which is leaders up on volume intraday. So I removed the combo, and you can see that only 17 of them are currently up. And I removed the combo because I wanted to keep them in the same order as they were. I'm going to apply that and go back to the prior view. You can see that Fair Isaac is on top. If I go down to the leaders up intraday on volume, notice that it is not on top any longer. So the reason to remove the combo, or turn it off, not remove it, is to keep the stocks in order. Now these are all up yesterday, 56. As of today though, when I drop down to leaders up intraday on volume, it's only 17, but you can see that these are still in the same order. Now if you look over here, you'll see the price change and you'll see the intraday range. So Fair Isaac is at 51% of its range, and if I bring this up, this is an expensive stock. You can see that as people chase this, traders, unsophisticated investors chase this higher, the profit taking comes in, and those who bought here or down here, they're getting out while others are trying to chase it. Now, since I'm on the intraday, I'm going to engage the combo. This is a different combo rank. It's based upon intraday price and intraday range. And if I sort on raw combo, which I am, you can see that the stocks near the top are in the upper part of their range. I'm going to go down here to the bottom. You can see that New Fortress Energy, or NFE, is up 2.23% today, but it's only trading at 11% of its range. So that means that buyers, early buyers are getting out, and the late comers are being taken advantage of. I hit my alternate 1 key to bring this up, and you can see the volume's extremely heavy, but it is being sold into. So when I use this screen, I want to know that the stocks that I'm looking at, especially at this time of the day, it's 103, there's only a couple hours left in the market. I want to see the stocks that are holding up the best. So I generally look first at the intraday range and sort on that, and then bring those stocks up. And now you can see that Wabtec, this is clearly a leading stock. And here's the fan over here. The fan is up with the 200. I'll zoom in on this. The 200, the 100, the 50, and the 18 all stacked, and the 3 is above the 6. So I know that I have a leadership stock here. Now this is intraday information as of the last update, which was just a few minutes ago, and you can see that the volume is trading more than 50% of its average volume. On the 20-day, it's trading 74.5% more, and that's represented with this volume bar over here. The magenta portion of that is the projected volume for the day. So volume's very heavy, and it opened here, traded down, but buyers stepped in to support this stock to drive it higher. So it's clearly in a leadership role. Now the charts I'm using are charts that I have in what I call my contextual folder, because it puts these stocks into context. Like the context of this stock is I can see that it's above, or the 18 is above the 50, 6 is above the 18, and the 3 is above the 6. These blue lines represent volume pocket pivots, or volume increasing compared to the prior 5 or 10-day period. So there's demand. That's context, and this is the intraday context, because I can see the relationship of the different warehouse fields in here to where they normally are. Also up here, I can see what the trends are, so there's a lot of information in here. Now, what happened yesterday? You can see that there was an effort to rise. After this no demand day here, or a pseudo upthrust, but yesterday, with the market so strong, this was a leader that gapped up because traders and investors are stepping in to this stock. Now I'm going to drop down here in this to chart number 9, continuation of demand or supply. So with this chart, I get a lot of information. Now here is the way it works. These rose bars are on candles that have a lower price, lower close than the prior day, and there is a volume that is down volume that is heavier than any up volume over the prior 5 or 10 days. It's an either or situation. It can be either be 5 or 10. But anyway, it just gives me a visual. So it looked bad, except what happened, there was an inside day. The next day you can see this candle's inside of this one. Volume picked up. There's a green bar because the 3 went above the 6. You can see that right here. And then the 3 stayed above the 6 on this one. Pocket pivot right here. Another blue bar. Same thing for this bar. And then volume kind of fell off a little bit. So no pocket pivots. Pocket pivot here. There is a pocket pivot here, but this is an anomaly because this generated a rose bar. Why did it do that? Because this candle, if you look closely, is inside, or the close was lower than the prior day's close. So the way my visual filter backtest is set up, if the close is lower and volume's above average, it'll generate a warning pocket pivot. I don't see this very often, but what happened? The next day it went a little bit higher, and then there was a shakeout. So this suggests, because this volume's higher and it closed lower is that sellers were selling into this move up, and then it had a very small body day the next day, and then a one-day shakeout, and then it gapped clear down here to open, and buyers stepped in again. And the following day, you can see there's a green bar. There's no pocket pivot though, but the way I have this filter set up, if there is an effort to rise inside, or an effort to rise VPA flag, it'll generate a green bar. So these are all demand bars. These are all supply bars. They don't always work, but I like them because they give me a feeling for additional demand or supply based upon the strength of volume and the staying above the micro trend line. The 3 is above the 6. The reason I put these in here is because if I miss the crossover, these 2 days of the crossover, then I can look at these stocks to see if there's still strong demand based upon price and volume. You always want to try to get the low risk entries down here, but if you don't, it doesn't mean that you can't get on a stock if it is continuing to show strong demand. When I started doing this video on with the leaders up intraday on volume, there were 17, now they're 14. The market's holding up really well, though. The NASDAQ is up another 2% today. The S&P's up over 1%, 1.07. So some of these leading stocks from the prior screen, 3 of them disappeared. Now what I want to do is I want to look at the other side of this. Here's where I am now. I want to look at leaders down on volume. Now what this is showing, these are the stocks that were down yesterday that are leaders. In other words, the fan is still intact with the 100 above the 200, the 50 above the 100, 18 above the 50, and so on. But they were down yesterday, so there was weakness in some of these groups yesterday. Let's just look at this. Here is yesterday, and you can see this was down. This is a leading stock. You can see the fans in place, but it was rolling over yesterday. That's the purpose of this scan. You can look at the leaders that may be rolling over, and if you're a short side player, there is a potential to get on these stocks if they continue to go down. Now here's another one. This is yesterday. Here's the fan. The fan's in place. The 3 went down through the 6 yesterday, though, so there's some serious profit taking in these stocks. There were only 15 stocks yesterday that met the criteria. Now if I go to leaders down intraday on volume today, you can see there are 41 of them. So these all have the fan in place, as you can see, but they're coming down. This one's been down 1, 2. This is the 3rd day in a row that it's been down, but it's still a leader because the fan is in place. Hudson Global, look at this. This is yesterday. It's down again today, but some buyers are stepping in. Let's do McKesson. That's a familiar name. Now this fan was strong until this happened here. The 3 went down through the 6 here. You can see there was a negative pocket pivot on that day, and the 3 went down through the 6. So this, once again, these are stocks intraday today. Even though the market is strong, these stocks, although they're leaders, are coming down. So it really gives us good insight into the leaders up at the end of the day, intraday, leaders down, end of day, and up. And then these are just 2 scans, different criteria. I'm not going to cover these today because I want to keep this video right about 15 minutes. Thank you for listening, and try if you're an Insider Club member, try these scans during the market, and you will certainly find some leaders. Thanks again for listening.